Boom, what's happening, guys? Welcome along to another episode of the 420 News. I'm your show host, Martin Conn, and as if you already didn't know that, only the diehards out there waiting for the start. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Excuse me. Yeah, it is Sunday, guys. A stony Sunday here for everybody. I hope. Hopefully, it's a nice stony Sunday for everybody out there. I know it's nice and sunny here for me anyway. We've got some Gorilla Skittles on offer here, grinded up, and then some orange sherbet on standby in case we run out of the Gorilla Skittles. Oh darn it! And you know what I just remembered? I got some Chem Dog there a little bit ago. Got to meet up with one of the hot boxers earlier this afternoon, dropping off some beans that were sent over there from the US of A. So very lucky recipient of some exotic genetics there this morning. But I was even luckier as I got handed some Chem Dog then as I handed over those seeds. So I was happy out. And I had some, what did I have? Some Godberry with me actually, so I left some Godberry behind as well. Fair was fair, like, you know. Might have to try to slip out there in a few minutes and see if I can get that Chem Dog. Don't have any videos to play for you, but we might come across something. I see all those comments flying in there in the hot box, guys. Keep them coming anyway. It's great to see all of you out there as well. Just going to quickly open up this there in the background for myself. Oh, there we go. Sorry, just getting up the chat here so I can see everybody's comments as they fly in. Boom, live control room. Savage, there we go. Yes, now I see everybody out there in the hot box. Proper, good and proper. See Teresa, Cassida, Strogas, Podge, the roving reporters out there. Bobby is there. What's happening, Bobby? Mr. Wes, Greenbeard, what's happening, Greenbeard? Greenbeard is over there across the pond still, yeah? Over in Canada, eh? Hanging out with TG, getting him to suck on those funny-shaped gummies. I was just thinking, like, you know, it was hilarious. I seen Temple Glory had some phallus-shaped gummies there earlier, and I was just like, yeah, of course he's going to have those shaped gummies as soon as Greenbeard arrives over there. Yes. Peter Kelly's in the hot box as well. Green tea. Derry the Grower. What's happening, Derry? Steve Jones out there as well. Mal's Chronic and Bogwan's Son. What is happening, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. As we do, guys, little civil disobedience, ready to rock and roll here with. Got some Hempwick as well. What's everybody blazing up out there? What are you engaging in a bit of civil disobedience with today? As I said, it's the Gorilla Skittles on the menu for me here at the moment. Here's hoping this time next month, something like that won't be criminal, huh? Yeah, 31st of this month, we're going to have the debate there happening above in the Dial. Excuse it. Yeah, that debate's going to be happening above there in the Dial on the 31st of January. There was some rumblings online, a few rumours kind of being spread around that that date was being kicked back, that there was going to be a different debate taking place that day, that the people before profit weren't going to be using their private members' time for Gino Kenny's decrim of cannabis bill. But thank be to God, I messaged Gino myself personally and asked him, I was like, look, please say it isn't so. These are the rumours. And thankfully Gino messaged back and saying, look, Martin, that's the first I've heard of it anyway. All systems go there for the 31st of January. So fingers crossed now, 31st of January rolls around and a very good, honest, rational debate will be had. above there in the dial. I'll be up there myself anyway on the day to witness it as it unfolds. And I really do hope that they remain fucking honest throughout the entirety of the debate. Because the prohibitionists, they do tend to lie a little bit. So the 31st of January, guys, keep that one in the books anyway. Above there in Dublin, above in Leinster House, the government are going to be debating a bill to decriminalise up to 7 grams of cannabis. So fingers crossed that'll get over the line. So that's the only good news really coming out of Ireland. Then we're back into the court pages. Unfortunately, there's a number of stories that have surfaced there over the last week. The first one is coming from down your neck of the woods, Bhagwan, down there in County Kerry. So 2 men were arrested following the seizure of €115,000 worth of cannabis. Excuse me. But 2 men, one of whom is a teenager. So basically, 1 man and a boy have been arrested following the seizure of this cannabis down there in Kerry. €115,000 worth of cannabis. So you're talking about 5 kilos, 5.75 kilos of cannabis. So 5,750 grams. The Gardaí arrested 2 men following the recovery of an estimated 115,000. But as we mentioned, it was 1 man and 1 young man, a boy. He's a teenager. It says, like, I'm assuming that they're saying teenager. Like, is he under 18? I suppose 19 is still a teenager, isn't it? So maybe that's why they're referring to him as a man. But in other stories, like the 2 men, a teenager and 1 in his 20s. So a teenager, like, is he 19, 18? Is he still an adult? I'm curious. Like that one's got me curious there. Like in this situation, such a young person to be getting kind of roped up in all of this, but at the same time, I thinking of it, man, how easy it was for me. To have gotten stuck in this situation. I can remember being that age, 17, 18, and going out picking up my first kilo. Thank God I never got more than a kilo. I had one of those bags there that you see, like if one of those contains a kilo. And that was enough for me, to be fair. The second time I went and got it, I think I was just topping up and I collected like a half a key. And driving back, I drove into a bloody checkpoint, and that put the shits up me, and it kind of made me realise, you're kind of fucking really playing with fire here in this this game of like buying and selling cannabis and all that. So that was enough for me to kind of call it a day then and that. But it's a scary fucking thing, like when you're encountering that checkpoint and underneath the bonnet of your car, you got a couple of years worth of cannabis under there, a couple of years behind bars. But this teenager, anyway, unfortunately, he's been held along with the adult in his 20s below at the Clarny Garda Station, I believe it is. Is it at the Kerry Divisional Drugs Unit Garda District? Where are they being held? Doesn't say where they're being held. Doesn't matter. The 2 men, teenager 1 in his 20s, are being detained under the provision of Section 2 at a Garda Station in the southern region. That's what it says. So there you go. But like, more waste of time, like, to be fair. Like, alright, the guards, well done. Like, he found some cannabis, but what have you actually achieved? Like, how many of you out there right now can still go buy cannabis? How many kids out there right now still have cannabis and are selling it? Like, a pat in the back for the Gardaí? No, sorry. Like, you're wasting your time. Like, it's like celebrating being down at the ocean, emptying fucking 1 bucket at a time, like. It's a hopeless affair. You're never going to empty it. Much like the guards are never going to find all the cannabis, despite all the terrorism they do in an effort for it. So that's down in Kerry. 115,000 worth of cannabis. That's going to be seized and destroyed. Then we go from Kerry and we jump up to the other side of the island of Ireland. But we're crossing the border and we're going up into the north, I do believe. We're up in County Down. County Down? Yeah, that's the north, isn't it? Yeah, County Down, yeah, definitely is. A man who's been charged 400 plants were seized in County Down. The plants were found at a property at Rathfreeland area on Friday at an estimated value of approximately £200,000. The man aged 39 has been charged with cultivation of cannabis and possession of a Class B controlled drug and possession of a Class B controlled drug with the intent to supply. He's expected to appear before the Lisburn Magistrates Court on Monday. But like, the thing is, the man getting caught at this property, there's a high likelihood he's not even actually the operator of it, like as in the ringleader of it, the boss, if you will. Like he's probably just some slacky who's been down there working Monday to Friday, taking care of the plants, getting paid a wage, but isn't going to be the main benefactor of it. But ultimately, he's going to be the guy dragged before the courts. And it's funny enough reading through these court pages there today, because in this one, when I was kind of thinking about it, I was like, yeah, it's probably a Vietnamese person getting dragged before the courts again. Then I came across another page. But I'm not even going to be able to get the story up there now. I might. No, it's not there. I think I might have closed it out. But like, there was another case there involving a Vietnamese person, but they didn't even have a Vietnamese interpreter. The interpreters were actually all tied up in other court cases above there in the north. That'll tell you like fucking how many Vietnamese people are up there getting roped into all of this grown. And it's not just in the north, that's right across the UK, and it's not just Vietnamese, it's all sorts of people from vulnerable walks of life. You know, it's not the well-off who are going to get roped into these grows. It's going to be a vulnerable person. It's going to be a person down and out in their luck. An organised crime gang is going to kind of prey upon this vulnerability, and they're going to put them in there. And then our cops come along, or the PSNI come along, and they raid it, and it's like, oh yeah, job well done. Look, we got all these plants, and we got these people. But meanwhile, these people are actually victims, economic victims. Sometimes fucking victims of human trafficking. And then the cannabis, it's like you overinflate the value of it. These are just plants. They're not really worth anything until you harvest them. They put the final value of them when they reach the street after it's been grown, harvested, and everything. Like, come on, you just took some plants. They weren't even finished, to be fair. And the value put them is overinflated because of your prohibition in the first place. Frustrating. Yeah. Jeeb saying they're fucking ridiculous. I was lucky enough to go into a hash and extract testing last night in an art gallery in Saskatoon. It was excellent, and how cannabis could be enjoyed in Ireland, it's a farce. It's beyond a farce, man. They treat us. It's a farce how they treat us back at home. Yeah, it is cheap, but man, I'm not taking it anywhere myself. I made my stand. I'm up in court myself this coming Wednesday, and I'm going to be taking my stand for my right to grow this plant. It's not just to possess it, but to grow it. Like, that's what the upcoming court case is going to be about. I'm not letting them push us around any longer. I'm sick and tired of it. Those plants were planted back in the day. It was hashtag talk to Vera, hashtag bring Alicia home. But now it's hashtag let our people grow, because effectively that's what this is all about, really, is our right to be able to grow, possess, harvest, process this plant for our benefit. So I will be making that stand anyway. So we'll be starting this Wednesday. Yay! Bob West, what's happening? Says, setting up first grow of the year. Got some 40 centimetre deep grow pots for myself on sale. Happy days, Bob, man. Happy growing as well, but best of luck. Hope that green thumb stays nice and green for you. Ant-Man, what's happening? Nice Podge ripping up a slurricane bowl. Must get a bowl packed up there on myself before we get stuck into any more of this news. As I said, I wish I had more fucking positive stuff to be really covering here today, unfortunately, but it's just going to be more rants coming your way, like giving out about the law, giving out about the courts. But you're all more than used to that. A little bit of civil disobedience too along the way. How many more court case pages do we have lined up for you? There we go. Done that one. Yes. The next one is a bit of a warning for you guys. Seamus Hopkins says, great work, Martin. I'm up tomorrow. Can they claim us as property. Is that what you're saying? If yes, black laws. They are all registered under Dun and Bradstreet, London, as a private corporation. Living man can't contract with a corporation. Yeah, man, I kind of went down that road before, trying to learn a little bit about like those free man, straw man arguments and stuff like. But unfortunately, I just all kind of just flew over my head. I understand some of it to some degree, but other bits, it's just. And when it comes to court, man, it seems unfortunately they don't really entertain those arguments from what I've seen anyway so far. I know a good a buddy is currently in prison, I believe, still. He only spoke in Irish to the guards. Seen a video of his arrest. And unfortunately, they didn't entertain his kind of his freeman arguments. He ended up having his house raided and stuff like that. I think there was an arrest warrant there for him. And unfortunately, fucking yeah, he's still in behind bars now. Unfortunately. But man, what I do believe in is our constitutional rights and our human rights enshrined thereunder. I totally believe in that, and I believe that we have a very strong argument to be made that our rights are being denied by the allowance of this Misuse of Drugs Act. We've a right to privacy, like that there first and foremost, like, has been violated. That the cops can come kick in your door just simply because your neighbour smelt that you were smoking some herb out your back garden, ratted you up, and next your door gets blown off the hinges over a 50 fucking bag. And that stuff does happen, guys. Don't think it doesn't happen. You hear stories like this where people are actually being brought to court after the cops raid their house and find only €20 or less of cannabis. I've reported on these cases here. Don't think that doesn't happen. As it does, unfortunately. Right, let's blaze up another little ball here, and we'll get stuck into more news. As I said, the next one, guys, coming your way is a bit of a warning. You should all know this is a bit of common sense, but unfortunately, as they say about common sense, it's not at all that common these days. Says the guy knowingly breaking the law on a public stream, talking about common sense. Oh, the irony. But here we go. Boom. An electrician caught with 1.7 million worth of cocaine due to an untaxed van, guys. So I've said this once before, and I say it again. If you were going to break the law, guys, just make sure you break one law at a time. If you were going to transport illegal substances, make sure you were doing so in a vehicle in which is taxed, NCT'd, and insured. Make sure you are not speeding. Do not give the guards any reason at all to pull you over. If you're carrying as little as fucking €5 worth of weed, never mind 1.7 million worth of cocaine. Seriously, what was this fucking sausage thinking like? It's even funnier when you get into the story, kind of. It's sad as well, actually, because I can kind of relate a little bit. Well, ish. I don't be moving that much cocaine. I don't be moving any cocaine. An electrician who went out to buy nappies. He didn't realise what a crap situation he was getting himself into. He needed a bit more than nappies. But in an untaxed van containing 1.7 million worth of cocaine has been sentenced to 5.5 years in prison. And it says the Gardaí stopped the van being driven by Kerr Lawler after noticing a strong smell of cannabis, and that Lawler's septum was visible, indicating a severe cocaine addiction. So this dude, was fucking worse than Whitney Houston, you know what I mean? The bridge in his nose was fucking gone. So it was like that part was gone, so his septum was visible. And the dude stank of weed. Like, come on, man, don't be moving around a load of fucking coke stinking of weed. I get that you need to probably have a blaze before you go out in the van to move it, because you're shitting. But still, They searched the van and found packages in a clear site, in the back containing just under 25 kilos of cocaine valued at 1.74 million euro. At a hearing at Dublin Circuit Court on Thursday, the court heard that the Gardaí said to Lawler on arrest, "You're not a master drug dealer, are you?" He replied, "Not driving around in a van with no tax, I'm not." Oh, what a fucking sausage. Lawler pleaded guilty to possession and drugs at St. Cuthbert's Road, Clondalkin, Dublin on that date. The father of three with an address given her admitted possessing €220 of cannabis at the same on the same occasion, which he said was for his own personal use. Like, it doesn't really matter now at this stage, man. You got caught with 1.74 million of coke. Even if you were selling the weed, like, it's not really going to make matters worse for you, is it? Judge Martin Nolan sentenced Lawler to 5.5 years in prison, noting that he was a mature man and had been involved in this offence by reason of his substance abuse and long-standing addiction. The judge took into account mitigating factors, including Lawler's lack of previous convictions, his long and strong work record, his guilty pleas, cooperation and remorse, and the fact that he was unlikely to reoffend. If you're going to carry a lot of drugs, you should have tax in your car at least, says the judge. So even the judge here giving advice to wannabe drug dealers out there, guys, you know? Even the judge is kind of saying, guys, if you're going to carry loads of drugs, tax your car at least. Come on, don't make it so easy for us. The search then, Detective Garda Mark Walsh told John P. Gallagher, prosecuting, that he was on mobile patrol on the day in question when he noticed the Renault van leaving a housing estate in Clondalkin. A quick registration check showed no tax, so Gardaí stopped the vehicle and noticed the driver seemed nervous and smelled of cannabis. His search revealed a small quantity of cannabis resin in the glove compartment, and Lawler also handed over cannabis from the driver's side door. Gardaí opened the rear door of the van, which contained the usual electrician's tools, and noticed black bales which were, when opened, revealed bars of suspected cocaine wrapped in plastic. Ah, that's lousy. Man, he's going to get the head kicked off him, like, if he doesn't get killed for this. Like, what a dumbass. Lawler told Gardaí he'd drugged out of $7,000. Well, guess what, dude? It's a lot more now. He says, "I'm a chunky bastard and I can't get $7,000, so I got it off someone else. They said they would go to my mum's house." On arrest, Lawler told Gardaí he had an arrangement by phone whereby he would go to the designated pickup spot just off the M50 Finglas to collect the drugs. He'd been carrying 1.7 million worth of cocaine in his van since the previous week. He was driving around with this for a week. Like, what's going on? Like, as he did not believe he could store it safely in the family home. On the day in question, he had left the house to go and buy nappies, the quarter. Like, whoever owned it anyway, like, do you know what I mean? You would want your head kicked in for leaving this sausage driving around in an untaxed van for a week with your cocaine. It's your own fault he lost it. Yes, talking about his addiction here, then Garda Walsh agreed with Seamus Clark, defending that Lawler's septum had been eroded and was visible, making it evident that he was severely addicted to cocaine. Lawler initially used cocaine recreationally, but his own use escalated after the death of his father 7 years previously, to the point where he was spending 500 to €1,000 on drugs each week. Man, that's an awful lot of cocaine to be putting up your nose. Mr. Clark presented testimonials from drug treatments to show that Lawler has been since managed to come clean of drugs, and further letters were submitted to Lawler's by former employer of 12 years, who described him as a very good, dependable and trustworthy employee. And that's the thing, like, you know, good people take drugs too. It's just unfortunate that this dude, like, he was just doing a lot of fucking cocaine. It's an unfortunate thing then that it's unregulated. It's quite often or not, you know, that the purity is an issue. Like, I wonder there, like, you know, if you're snorting cocaine and if you're getting good quality cocaine, is there a way in which you can actually reduce that impact that has on the bridge of the nose, you know, the erosion that happens? Or is that just something that's, you know, a consequence of the alkaloid cocaine itself? Possibly that. But surely there's a way of mitigating it, something you could probably mix in there that would reduce or even stop that. Who knows? But if we were to regulate it, we wouldn't be long finding out. Further letters were also handed in from Lawler's partner, mother, and other relatives, describing him as a very kind, committed, caring, and generous family man. So there you go, like, you know, he's got the support of his family there as well. He's been proactive in leading a good social and working life, and adding that Lawler has had agreed to courier drugs because he was under duress and had experienced a degree of threat. So again, the degree of threat, that wouldn't be the case if it wasn't for prohibition. That this drug debt intimidation that goes on out there. You have people like this. As I said, mentioned earlier, these organized crime gangs. They're not idiots who run these things. They see people like this. It's like, oh yeah, look at him. He's doing way more coke than what he can afford. Let him run up a debt there, and now he's going to be ours. We effectively own this dude. And it's like, yeah, Lawler, come here, boy. Take that there. Let's throw that in your van. Where am I bringing it? No, just put it in your van. Leave it in your van there. All right, but when are you going to get it? Doesn't matter. Shut up. Put it in your van and know your place. Like, how much am I going to get for that? We'll tell you how much when we're ready to tell you how much. You know what I mean? Like, and no respect there. Like, the dude has no rights. You know what I mean? He's just like, he's completely at the mercy of these fucking thugs. So, again, you see people like that. I can't help but see a victim there. I know other people out there mightn't have the same sympathy towards people like this, but I know I can't help but see that anyway. So, prohibition creating problems for all sorts of people out there. Greenberg Rose saying they're fucking ridiculous. I was lucky enough to get hash, and I read that already. Sorry. Urban Reporter says no stupid people there. As I said, maybe speak for yourself. The only guy on here behind the camera sitting down, showing off he's breaking the law. And in a protest, it's a protest. Bob West says, bit harder to grow your own coke. I will stick to the green. Yeah, we were over in France actually at I won't mention names and places actually because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I was at a university over there, and one of the lecturers over there, she wasn't my supervisor, she was a supervisor of two lads that I was over there with, and they were working in the greenhouse. I was down in the lab somewhere and fucking doing polymers and shit like that, but the boys were up in the greenhouse doing all herbal extracts and stuff, having a bit more fun than me. But Joanne, she brought us down one day to give us a tour of her greenhouse, and she was mad to show us her secret plants. It's like, don't tell nobody now, shush, 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 shush. And she had a cocaine plant, she had like fucking all sorts of hallucinogenic and psychedelic plants, peyote, different psychedelic cactuses, she had cat. What else had she in there? She had different salvias as well. Yeah, she was she was interesting. She know cannabis though. Like, oh, was what I said. Just the first thing I said to her. So where's your cannabis plant? Oh no, we couldn't grow cannabis. It's too smelly. Too smelly. Oh yes, that was funny. Oh yeah, that was a good time. Spent 3 months over there in France on a placement during the second last year of my college course. Great crack it was. Picked up a little bit of French, but they were the French supervisor that I had. She wanted to learn English more than I wanted to learn French apparently. So yeah. Je m'appelle Martin. Yeah, that's about it. Was it Je voudrais croissant avec Nutella? I would like a croissant with Nutella. S'il vous plaît. TG, what's your French like, man? You're not the French speaking part of Canada. Ah, yes. Empty out that ball. Keep the comments coming in on the hotbox anyway, guys. TG says crystalline entity in the bong. Oh man, takes me back. I just thinking of that species 8472, man. Have you got beans of that there? If you got some beans of that there, one or two spare, send them back there with GB. That species 8472. Oh my goodness, that was actually such a lovely taste off it. Beautiful effects too. You could smoke it all day, like, and a lovely head high to it, like nice body stone too, like, but my tolerance is just probably a bit beyond that of it. But it definitely had a lovely cerebral effect to it. But yeah, species A472. TG, man. You did yourself that time. Je suis la fromage. How's that? I have the cheese. I have the cheese. Je suis. I have. Yeah. Yeah, absolute hero, TG. Absolute hero. And any other beans you might want me to run out over here, man, and spread around the Irish community. I'd be more than happy to. Because there's quite a collection of growers there building up down the hot box, and we got a recent injection there of exotic genetics into the Irish community. Um, but there's nothing like that, those temple grower genetics. That'll put manners on the growers out there. Whoop wop whoop says, yeah, Wim Hof breathing gives me the same effect as Salvia divinorum. Yeah, I've done some of that. Not the Wim Hof, but holotropic breathing. Wim Hof is good in a sense. I done that and I was able to extend my breath hold, which was crazy by like fucking nearly three times what I can normally hold my breath, which is crazy. But I did some of that holotropic breathing a few times, and yeah, you're definitely hitting off the edge there of what would be very similar to me. Well, what I experience as a DMT kind of realm, that DMT trippy zone. Um, that was what the holotropic breathing did for me. I've not tried salvia actually myself, so I can't really say whether that's similar to the DMT realm that I'm comparing it to. But yeah, holotropic breathing, that's definitely is interesting. Something I was big into there for a while was lucid dreaming. Anybody out there able to get into the lucid dreaming? I was trying all sorts of stuff there for a good while. Was taking all sorts of nootropics, trying different little techniques throughout the day, but I could never really get into lucid dreaming. I could never wake myself up in a dream and control the dream state. I just wanted to fly. I just wanted to go flying in my dream, but yeah. Right, little civil disobedience, and we'll get stuck back into some more news here for you. Next one is another interesting one, actually, coming out of Ireland. It's another one that kind of flies in the face of the prohibitionists, really, out there, like in their efforts to curb drug use with incarceration. So the next headline coming out of Ireland is this: a prison addiction counsellor has been charged with drugs possession and the proceeds of crime, actually, as well. This woman pictured here, and apologies actually for showing your picture. Shouldn't have really showed your picture. Um, that lady anyway above. She's 35 years of age. She was pulled over by the guards on the way into the prison, on the way to the prison actually, and they discovered some cocaine on her person. And then they went back to her property, and there was more cocaine as well as cannabis, benzodiazepines, alzaprazlam, and more than €7,000 in cash. And that was found at her property on Wednesday. It gives her address here above in Dublin. She was charged with unlawful possession of drugs, possession of them for sale and supply, and money laundering, and a money laundering charge for having the proceeds of crime. She has yet to enter a plea. The Garda Kylie Byrne told Judge Brian Smith on Thursday that the accused made no reply when charged, and Garda Byrne objected to bail, citing the seriousness of the case and the concerns the accused would flee. Um, it says talks here about her being a counsellor. Then that the court heard that Miss O'Man, the woman involved, shouldn't have named her. Sorry, apologies. She worked as an addiction counsellor at the Merchants Quay Ireland, an outreach and support service, and also in Mountjoy Prison. The contested bail hearing was told that she was in the vicinity of the prison when her car was stopped and drugs were recovered. Garda Byrne said her house was searched and more drugs were found along with €7,400 in cash. Judge Smith heard that the total value of drugs recovered was about €2,000 and cross-examined by defence solicitor Donald Quigley, the Garda agreed the accused lived all her life in the Dublin 15 area, had children and was in her current home for the past 3 years. The solicitor suggested that the alleged seizure was mainly tablets, but the Garda pointed out that it also included cannabis and cocaine, allegedly worth €1,000. So they're really kind of digging in here like at her and kind of really trying to paint a negative picture here. The cash doesn't go well for her if she can't explain the cash there. Like it's the proceeds of crime, and then they're going to be kind of saying, "Oh, you're in and out of prison." Then, like, kind of what's going on there? Who you connected to? At least that's kind of how I'm reading into this anyway when I first read through this. It says then the Garda said that the cash was scattered in different locations in her home, including her bedroom, and money was rolled up and some containing cling film. So, like, again, not good. Solicitor put it to the Garda that his client let out rooms, but the officer answered that the accused had not told the Gardaí. Mr. Quigley also added that she worked full-time at Merchants Quay, and the Garda agreed that she had never been in trouble before and had surrendered her passport. Pleading for bail, the solicitor argued that his client had significant ties to the state, the amount of drugs was low, and that the matter could be dealt with at the district court. Judge Smith held that she would be granted bail on her bond of €1,000 with the conditions. And he ordered the woman who did not address the court to sign on 3 times a week at the local guard station, provide Gardaí with a phone number and be contactable at all times, and not to apply for a duplicate passport. That's even a bit much. Like, they're going to make this woman go down to the guard station 3 times a week to sign on. Unnecessary work for the guards as well. She's a threat to nobody. She's after giving them her passport already. It's like, why are you creating this unnecessary work for the guards? Like, they have enough shit to be dealing with, and to be bringing out a book to get this woman to sign her name. Like it says there, she has kids and everything herself. Like, let her get on with her life. Like, to be fair, isn't it bad enough already? She's after being taken. Like, again, I see this woman again as another person taken advantage of because of her situation. Maybe she was a person who used a bit of cocaine herself. Who knows? I don't know. Or maybe she was just a person working actually in the addiction space, was seen as a vulnerable person who could be easily persuaded to bring drugs, store drugs, hold drugs. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. But it's yeah, it's not good for her anyway. In this case, unfortunately. The Gardaí needed to analyse the substance and seek directions from the DPP prosecution, and Judge Smith adjourned the case until July. So, unfortunately for this woman, like, it's not looking good. It looks like they're going to be doing her for excessive possession there. I'd say the intent, the proceeds of crime there, so there'll be probably the sale and supply, given that the value of the cocaine and the cannabis as well is around €1,000. Not looking good for her. Hopefully she gets the support she needs there anyway from the guys at Merchants Quay and stuff like that. Seamus Hopkins saying here, if more people smoked weed, the world would be a better place. Definitely would be if more judges fucking smoked weed anyway, that's for sure. Wouldn't hurt anyway, surely. Bobby O'Brien says, so what exotics were exchanged this morning? I believe there was some Falcon Heavy, Slap Happy, and boom, I'm just going to have a look at the list. Boom, there's the list. Slap Happy, Ring of Sour, and Deluxe. Hey. And those blackout bobbies have been popped as well, Bobby. You'll be happy to know. And hopefully some other genetics after being popped there as well. But yeah, you'll get more updates in the hot box anyway as they happen. Oh, there we go. Just looking through Pip Jam says cheers on Martin's World and crew. Not a bother all, Pip Jam. Welcome to the hot box. Hopefully all is good. Hopefully having a nice stony Sunday out there. Matthew Dunn says, say if you were to be caught with 3 plants at home and garden, what charge would you get? if you got caught with three plants, Matthew, the charge you actually get is the cultivation of cannabis without a license. Now, if you were very unfortunate to have just cut those plants down, and now you've got three plants that you're harvesting, they'll weigh everything wet, and they'll do you for sale and supply then based on the weight. It's crazy. Like, so you get got caught with three plants, like three beasts of plants, like roots in the soil that has to be still all attached. €800, and there could be about 5 or 6 ounces on that, like way above €800 per plant. Now, but don't tell the cops this. But they'll still value it at €800, you know. But meanwhile, if you cut those plants down, they will weigh it gram for gram, including every bit of water included, and you'll get done for that. Like, so, yeah, that's a very sensitive time after you cut your plants down, because if the cops were to come within that like first few days while it's still got like a majority of the water weight there, yeah, they weigh it all. Heartbreaking. Flood MTG. That says Bobby, hitting us with those Canadian genetics. We be spoiled for choice over there. Spoiled for choice. Ready to hit the road running once the government fucking finally just let us alone. What's that? Whoop up whoop. You get free. What's that? Labels of your product. Oh, free lab test. Ah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, there was something blocking that over there. I couldn't see what you were saying. uh, Roving reporter says she should claim that she was studying for her job. That might be a bad excuse, like, yeah. I actually helped a lot of people there today. I intervened, and I just took all of those drugs off of people today because they were about to use them, and then they rang me, said they didn't want to use them, so they gave them to me, and now I have them. And they gave me money as well for doing it for them, because, you know, they were just being nice. It was a tip. If only, if only. Ah, yes, yes, yes. So there we go. That's that piece done. That's the electricians done, and we're jumping back over to Waterford actually, or Wexford. Sorry, no, not Waterford, to Wexford now for the next one. Next one is coming out of County Wexford, and this is where a man's house was raided and €2,000 worth of cannabis was found. This was on Thursday, the 4th of January, so 10 days ago. The man, aged in his 30s, was not known to Gardaí previously and was arrested at the time. This operation was intelligence led. So basically, what the guards are saying here with this is that basically the guards got information off a rat. Somebody got a bag of weed off your man, went down the road, the guards fucking stopped him, ripped the pants off him, scared the shit out of him, and he squealed. Squealed like a little piggy. And then the guards went and raided this fella's house, and your man had 2 grams worth of weed. What's 2 grams worth of weed, guys? That's basically €20 per gram. So your man had 100 grams worth of cannabis there. He's now been charged and brought before the court. Files been sent before to the DPP. And Sergeant Evelyn Redan said the cannabis is one of the illegal substances most commonly found in their searches. Suspects caught with cannabis are charged similarly to suspects caught with cocaine. And she says this, like, you know, with a straight face. Completely straight face. I can guarantee you, I can't see her saying this, but I can picture her saying this completely straight face, like, even though it's a joke to say that. Depending on the quantity and the value of the substance. Like, that's just ridiculous, like. So that's coming out of Wexford. Sergeant Evelyn Redan proudly claiming, you know, that if you get caught with cannabis or cocaine, you're going to be punished similarly anyway. I would make an argument that neither of them should be getting punished at all. If you're getting, you know, or you shouldn't be getting caught with cocaine or cannabis. It shouldn't be something for the guards to be looking for. They shouldn't. Like, seriously, like, when was the last time you were walking down the road and you got attacked by cocaine? Do you know? Come on, like, you know, it doesn't happen. Like the biggest danger there from cocaine is its unregulated nature. Is the people selling it quite often or not? Like, do you know? So, uh, Wexford. Safer indoors than out in most cases. Is that growing, is it? Or just hanging out? Just growing outside. The lads are talking about there in the hot box. Good days, Clara. Oh, yeah, that was in relation to this. One second now. Oh, yeah, it's up. A Westport resident who was caught with a haul of cannabis has received a 5-month suspended prison sentence. And it gives the individual's name here, an Irishman, an Irish name, and I'm not going to name him. Pleaded guilty at Castlebar District Court to possessing drugs for sale and supply on April 4, 2021 at Tesco Apartments, Westport. So this is a case that's going back like almost 3 years. April 4, 2021, that's almost 3 years ago. The court heard that the Gardaí from Mayo Divisional Drugs Unit searched the defendant's then residence at the Tesco apartment on the date in question and found cannabis with a street value of €1,600, along with paraphernalia such as weighing scales that were used for preparing the drugs for distribution. Oh, the shock and horror. Like, he had a scales alongside his cannabis. The individual with no previous convictions, and the individual had no previous convictions. His solicitor said his client is a chef and has been addicted to cannabis at the time and was also supplying the drug to friends. Like, I hate that they have to make this admission. Oh, he was addicted to cannabis at the time. I've now given her up. But look, I've clean placed. Like, would they have ever given up the cannabis if they weren't going before the courts? If they weren't terrified of their freedom? Like, that's the only reason they're giving up the cannabis in these situations. The only reason they're kind of going in there making this claim, oh, I was addicted to cannabis. Like, this then adds to the fuel then that, like, for Mary Cannon and them, because, oh, look at all these people addicted to cannabis that they're seeing going into their services, because no doubt this person probably went into the likes of a Bobby Smith or Mary Cannon, and it's like, you know, paying good money to get a cert at the end of it to say, like, oh yeah, this fella is addicted but is now clean. Look, and there is the next line. He is now clean and he has learned his lesson. He's a Romanian national. Oh, he's not Irish actually. That's a Romanian name. It looks Irish. Or maybe it's just, oh, his address is Irish. And he's learned his lesson. He's a Romanian national who's been 12 years in Ireland, and he's gainfully employed and is contributing to society. Mr. Walsh said his client is adamant that he will not be before the courts again, and Sergeant McShane agreed that the individual had cooperated with the Gardaí, and Judge Vincent Dean imposed a 5-month jail term which he agreed to suspend on condition there was no offences in the next 2 years. He also warned the defendant was lucky he was not going straight to prison. Like, this individual here, like, you know, he's to be looking over his shoulder now for the next 2 years. Even if he wanted to use cannabis for the next 2 years, like, he's going to be terrified if he was to even have it anywhere next or near him, be in the same room as it, because that means fucking 5 months of his life is gone. Like, 5 months, that's a lot of your life. That's half a year. Come on, considering, you know, if you're lucky, you might live to be, what, 60, 70 years old. To be losing a half a year, that's a significant part of your life to be losing, to be fair, like, in the scheme of things, over something as benign as cannabis. It's ridiculous, and he's that hanging over his head now for the next 2 years. Some joke. Yeah, Peter Kelly says it there about biggest harm, cannabis is getting caught with it. And unfortunately for that individual there in that case, yeah, he learned that story himself. There was other ones there then. Boom. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one I was looking at there earlier. Results of analysis awaited after the Offaly suspected drugs find. So this is a case that's going back to November 4th last year, when a man by the name, a Vietnamese man, 52 years of age, was caught with, how much cannabis was it? €246,000 worth of cannabis at a Chinese restaurant above in Clara. So I think that's up in Dublin somewhere, Tullamore, somewhere up around that region. But the cannabis is being sent for analysis for the Forensics Science Ireland, and they're waiting for the results back. This individual here again, most likely is going to be just a fucking, what would you say, a little patsy within this. Like, he's not going to be the main man who's in here operating and making all the money off of this. But meanwhile, we're going to criminalize him, spend up to what, 80 grand a year to lock this guy up before to put him into prison. Most likely, this guy is probably going to prison given the fact that he was caught with like €250,000 worth of cannabis at the restaurant last year. This was the restaurant that they were caught at. Good Days in Clara. So handy old advertisement there for them. Good Days, Clara. Not good days for this man though, unfortunately. So the drugs have been sent for analysis again. This is going to be paid for by me or you, taxpayers. And once the results come back, this man then is going to be tried, most likely going to be sentenced to a couple of years in prison at a cost of 80,000 per year. While meanwhile, you've got parents out there who are fucking fundraising to get life-saving surgery for their young son or daughter. Like, there's many cases out there. I'm not even going to bring them up, like, because I'm a big softy with these things and I'll choke up. But there's many cases out there of people having to campaign to get medical assistance, to get a certain surgery or treatment or whatever. Meanwhile, catching somebody with some cannabis and we're willing to spend up to 80 grand a year to lock them up makes no sense. So that's coming out of County Offaly. 250,000 worth of cannabis found in November. The man was up in court today. They're still waiting the results from the Forensic Science Ireland. Forensic Science Ireland, who, just might I add, just to throw in there while I'm talking about us, the taxpayers, and what we pay for this, their newly opened lab, it's already inundated with samples, as in, this is why, they're waiting on the results. They're inundated with samples already at the new lab. They only just got a new lab, an updated lab with like fucking apparently a bigger capacity to be processing samples so that the courts aren't being slowed up. Because remember last year, was there a case there of some lad got caught with a load of coke, and because the boys didn't get back with the test results in time, we were waiting nearly 2 years for the test results or something, and then they didn't come back with it in time, and then the case got thrown out. It's a joke. And I done an extensive episode on the Forensic Science Ireland there one time, talking about like the absolute waste of time that goes on up there testing drug samples. At the same time, these guys are interpreting like rape kits. That like their resources have been pulled, but unfortunately, drugs a lot of the times get more resources than other things like that nasty thing I just mentioned there a couple of minutes ago, or in other crimes, burglary and stuff, fingerprinting and stuff, or blood analysis and stuff goes through them. Meanwhile, they're overwhelmed with drug samples from courts. Oh, when will the madness end? When? Hopefully soon. Friendly Grower saying here, I love the way they say clean, but you can be full of pharma and still be clean, but totally away from the normal. Man, don't get me started on clean. Honest to God, don't get me started on clean. Unfortunately, a family member of mine went through a treatment centre there not too long ago, and we were up there. And this family member is under 18, was up there for drug treatment and stuff. And next we find out, like, they're smoking fags. So it's like, where are you getting fags from? How are you getting fags? And, like, the drug treatment centre were giving her fags. It's like, they're calling her clean and everything, but, like, all of a sudden it's okay to give a fucking 15, 16-year-old fags. It's no hypocrisy there at all. So, yeah. Don't get me started on this fucking lunacy of clean, because I had many of a debate up there with the people at the treatment centre. It was an interesting one. Yeah. Friendly Gore says, hello. Yeah, you said that. Yeah, I read that already. Sorry, the other one. The only thing getting harmed with cannabis is the tub of ice cream. That coming in from the Friendly Grower as well. Not by me though, not by me. I'm being disciplined these days, okay? The ice cream is safe around me. Yes. I'll mangle a mango, I'll eat some apples, and then bananas, but the ice cream is off limits. I really have to cop on. I'm doing well though. Yeah, I'm happy to report that the weight is kind of going back to a more yeah, something somewhere I'm more comfortable with anyway. And the fitness is it's improving as well. But I have a long way to go before I'll be running any marathons. Saying marathons, actually, anybody want to run the Cork City Marathon this year? Just throwing it out there, guys. Just throwing it out there. I'm making it my mission to run the Cork City Marathon this year. And I want to do it in under 4 hours and 20 minutes because I'm going to stop at the finish line and I'm going to wait just before the finish line until 4 hours and 20 minutes and then cross it at 4 hours, 20 minutes. Nah, joking, I won't do that. Or will I? We'll time it. We get a pacer, the 4 hour 20, the 4:20 pacer. Ah, yes. Grab your parachutes as fuck. You can come down for emotional support. Grab your parachutes. You could be there at the finish line cheering us on. Come down for the after party. Oh, let's empty out this bowl. Oh, would you look at that? 4 minutes to 4:20. Yay! Got a little no care. Will she focus? Green screen kind of messes with it, but yeah, you get the picture. She's been really trimmed back now, this little nug. Yeah, that's gone straight into the grinder there now. Oh yeah, lovely, lovely frosty one too. This is Chocolate Tangy. Not one volunteer after jumping in there anyway. Don't everybody volunteer at once for the marathon there, guys. Do you have a relay as well, actually? If no, I want to do at least three this year. I want to do Cork, Dublin, and Amsterdam. Amsterdam do a marathon. I can't remember. Is it like fucking is it August for Amsterdam's or something like that? Amsterdam Marathon. It's the 20th of October, actually, guys. So it's a while away yet. That'll be the last one. So apparently the 20th of October is the Amsterdam Marathon. So anybody up for the Amsterdam one, Cork one, and the Dublin one? Do the triple one. No, I've been saying it for years that I'm doing a marathon, and shit comes up all the time. But this year I'm doing the three of them. I'm Let's go hard or go home. Teresa says couldn't run to the end of the road, love, without nearly dropping. Oh yes, lovely ball here now going up. Bhagwan says, we run from the law every day, man. It's enough. That's true, man. Well, to be fair, like actually, I have a yeah. Maybe actually back in the day, yeah, we've probably ran a couple of times from the cops. Like, but do you know what? Funny enough, the only times we ran from the cops back in the day, we were actually bushing. We were down at the end of the field drinking, and next we see the flashlights coming down the field. It was the cops walking down across the field because we were down there blaring the tunes on the old fucking little ghetto blaster that we were walking around with the big fat batteries in them. Oh, happy days. But yeah, the only time we actually ran from the cops was because of bushing, underage drinking. Don't even think we had nudge on us those times. Yeah, I don't think we ever ran from the cops then afterwards, really. Like, kind of. suppose didn't really have the opportunity to run from him really in the future occasions. It was always getting pulled over in the car. Bastards. Right, little civil disobedience going down here, and I think we've one or two more headlines to jump into, Witchy, before we sign off then and call up to the grandparent or to my mum and dad's, bring the kids up to see the grandparents. Friendly Roar says, as I say, if you see me running, you should run too. There is more than likely something big and angry chasing me. Yeah, no, I'm more that person to kind of stand there and look and wonder why is everybody running? Question rather than go with. When I realise there's something big and angry chasing you, then I'll join you. Oop wap oop says bastards. I was just thinking it and you said it. Sorry about. Oh, David getting in a bit of French up here as well. He says, "J'ai mis le gros coups et je ne peux pas mentir." All right, j'aime, I like, isn't it? La grasse, I don't know, like la grasse, de grasse, la grasse, and je ne pas, I do not mentir. Mentir. I don't know what mentir is. I'm gonna have to Google that one. I'd say. You got me. I'm curious as to what this is. You know I can't lie. uh, J'aime le gros cools. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Is that what it is? Yeah, I like big butts and I cannot lie. Maybe that's what it is. Gross cools. Gross. Yeah, maybe. Gross cools. Yes. Man, do you know what's actually class though? And I don't understand a word of it. French rap. Like, you're listening to French rap, I don't know, it just sounds class. I've listened to a couple of French rappers when I was over there in France. Couldn't tell you their names now for love nor money. But it sounds class. French rap. Shout out to any French rappers out there. David. Right, we got through that. Look at this handsome fella. We popped this dude up here. This is the next news headline coming at you out of Hillsborough. This Hillsborough farmer is to contest charges linked to a cannabis factory on his land. So this dude here in his sunglasses on his way back from Barcelona, I'd imagine, because that's an airplane with Barcelona, is it? Or bus, Barcelona bus in the background there. But he's a farmer in County Down, and he's accused of money laundering. So this individual named in this was linked to a cannabis farm that was found on his property, but he claims to have no knowledge of it. But meanwhile, there's kind of funds in the sum of 184,000 euro for the purchase of fuels, kind of after being linked to him, as well as lodging of £42,000 into a Bank of Ireland account and £132,000 into a Clare bank account. So he's charged alongside again, and I mentioned here the Vietnamese brothers, and the two Vietnamese brothers are named here in this article as along with the farmer. Where previously told the Belfast Telegraph he was really annoyed that the police weren't doing enough to find the criminals responsible for the huge cannabis factory on his farm. But the PSNI described it as one of the biggest and most sophisticated ever discovered in Northern Ireland. 3 weeks after the police discovered the drugs factory last February, Ware outlined how he was really annoyed at what had gone on at his farm, saying he knew nothing about it, but it was disgraced around the area. During a brief review of the case on Thursday, the court heard there may be delays as the only Vietnamese interpreter in Northern Ireland is no longer here. That was the case I was referring to there earlier, where they couldn't actually get a Vietnamese interpreter, um, because it wasn't the interpreter was no longer there. Last October, a High Court bail application for the two Vietnamese men was told that the enterprise was worth £200,000 a month, equivalent to 2.4 million a year. But you can be guaranteed those Vietnamese lads, they never seen a brown cent of that. Like, those lads were just getting enough money to be able to kind of keep the roof over their heads, and there was probably money going back home to their family. It was taking care of maybe their wife, their brother, sisters, mum, dad, who knows. Which is kind of often the case. Like, these people preyed upon by these unscrupulous individuals who will travel over to places like Vietnam, make deals over there, or they might even have to travel over there. They probably already have gangs over there who are willing to ship these people over here for this kind of thing, you know. And if they don't do it, God only knows what might happen to their family over there then, under the threat, from these organised crime gangs. So yeah, this is coming out of the north again. So this is a farmer up in the north had a cannabis factory discovered on his property. He's been linked to some questionable, I suppose, transactions. There are some large financial transactions. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there in for when this case goes back to court on a later date. So these operations are massive. Like, when you think about it, like the two Vietnamese dudes coming down, growing piles of cannabis. The cannabis is worth 200,000 a month. All right, they're growing. It sounded like that they had a lot of fuel being bought in. So they have diesel generators there. They're off the grid. They're burning fuel. So what are they burning there fuel wise? Like, are they burning about what, 2, 4, maybe 10 grand? Let's say they're burning about 10 grand a month in fuel. They're paying the boys, the Vietnamese lads, about 500 quid a week. Two Vietnamese lads, 500 quid a week. About 1,000 quid there between the two of them a week. 4 grand a month. Meanwhile, they're bringing in nearly $250,000 every month. Those Vietnamese lads aren't getting that money. That's for sure. Omelette du fromage. Then we have another case coming from above in the north. Excuse me. Lovely couple coming back from Scotland. They were on board a ferry when 20 kilos of cannabis were discovered hidden behind wooden panels in their van. So the cops, I don't know where they operating on intelligence, but they stopped the couple anyway as they were disembarking the ferry. They searched the couple. They basically found a small little bit of cannabis on the lady. And then when they carried out more extensive search of the van in which they were travelling in, they found 20 kilos of suspected herbal cannabis in steel bags behind wooden panels in the van. Says here then the police officer outlined how the seizure was worth around £125,000 and that during the police interview Day had admitted to being a drugs courier, claiming that he'd been contacted by persons unknown and that it was his first time doing a drugs run. They claimed he had been collected from the house, given the keys to the van, ordered to take it and leave it at a location for a period of time before driving it back. The officer described how he had been formally charged to court. They sat with his Day was, geez, that's confusing. The officer described how after he had been formally charged to court, Day sat with his head in his hands and commented, "I will get shot in the head for this." McLaughlin, meanwhile, admitted the cannabis in his handbag, in her handbag, was hers, but denied any knowledge of the 20 kilos in the van. In the court on Thursday, prosecuting lawyer submitted there was sufficient evidence to elevate the case to the Crown Court, and the submission was conceded by the defence. And Day and McLaughlin were told that they have the right to comment on the charges and to call evidence on their own behalves, but they both declined. Freeing the pair on continuing bail, District Judge Nigel Broderick returned the case to Antrim Crown Court with the arraignment scheduled to be heard on February 8th. So here again, you see a young couple get a kind of an offer that, it's like, geez, all we have to do is just, take the keys to the van, drive over there, let fellas throw a couple of things in and drive it back, and we get a couple of grand for ourselves. Geez, it's going to be answered to all our problems. Like, Do you know what? Maybe they had dreams of getting married or something. Like I'm looking at their photo here with all sparkles and stuff. Like, you know, maybe that's what they were trying to do, save up for their wedding. Maybe they've got kids or something like that. They were trying to, you know, put a little nest egg there aside from them. Who knows what their plan was, but they were made a bit of an offer because they were seen as two fucking vulnerable people who would be willing to take up that offer. Soft touches, unfortunately. And yeah, and as we kind of always talk about here as well, is who knows? They could have been the decoy. They could have literally been driving that decoy, and as they drove off and got stopped and searched, as the information got fed to the cops or whatever at the border, boom, 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 a load of vans just go through, all each of them with 10 times more than what they had in their van, you know? Quite easily be the case. So this Tyrone couple are going to be in a heap of trouble above there, unfortunately. And cases like this are going to continue as long as prohibition continues, unfortunately. Do they want to be should they be imprisoning them? Are they really a threat to anybody? Like, the only real threat they pose to people is their naivety, you know, is that they were naive enough to think that they might have got away with it. And but really, they're not threat at all, to be honest. Like, if cannabis wasn't illegal, there wouldn't have been a problem there for them. Unfortunately, it is. So now they're going to be facing the music. Yeah, Miles Chronic, what was she thinking? Carrying her honor. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Like, but I reckon I don't think that's what got him taken. I reckon there was a tip off there anyway by this what it seems like, because like all right, you're coming off the ferry, the cops stop and search you to find a little bit of weed in your person. Like, they do a bit more of extensive search. Like, but are they really going to strip your van apart? Like, maybe I don't know. Did they have the dogs there? Were they just unlucky? I don't know. CAB will get him. The Criminal Assets Bureau. Yeah, I've heard that from a few people that one person that they don't want to hear from is the revenue. Said apparently they're the worst than the cops. Yeah. Then we jump back here to Cork. A Cork woman has pleaded guilty to 7 drugs charges, including having more than 13,000 worth of cannabis. That means basically, because she's pleaded guilty to have more than 13,000 worth of cannabis, she's supposed to face a minimum mandatory of 10 years in prison. Any drugs charge in Ireland where you're in possession of more than €13,000 worth of drugs is supposed to come with a minimum mandatory of 10 years in prison. That's supposed to be what this lady's supposed to get, but will she get it? Very unlikely. This woman, named here in this case, 41 years of age, from Cork City. She was charged with having cannabis in excess of €13,000 in her possession. The solicitor indicated that the individual was signing pleas of guilty to all charges against her. So there's 7 charges actually against her, sale and supply and all of this kind of crack. Detective Garda Dare McCrowley charged the defendant previously with all 7 counts. The most serious count is one of having excess of more than €13,000 worth of cannabis sale and supply, which carries a minimum term of 10 years. 10,000 10 years unless there are exceptional circumstances, and there's always exceptional circumstances, always. I think I've only ever seen a minimum mandatory applied like twice from my recollection. It goes on to say then here that the charges relate to October 21st 2022, as do 6 other charges of having cocaine and cannabis and having each drug for sale and supply, money laundering of €755 cash, and allowing her home to be used for the preparation of drugs. So far, no details have been given in the court on the background circumstances that gave rise to these charges being brought against the accused. So an unfortunate case for this lady, facing that 10-year minimum mandatory, but is never going to get it. 41 years of age, I imagine, like, has she been in trouble? I think it said in the article that she hasn't been in trouble. Like, she's probably going to get, what, a year or 2, maybe, at least. Probably a hefty bit of it suspended, you know. Um, yeah. What more can I say? Um, Not much really. Yeah, an unfortunate case. Sooner we end prohibition, the better. Cases like this, it just continues. Like as I say, I feel like a broken record on here, just repeating these cases, different people, but it's the same details. Like what that like? Why isn't someone calling this out? Why aren't the judges calling this out? How long are you sitting there as a judge? You know, many of these judges sitting there decades watching like generation after generation come through and getting nowhere. Like you're not like quenching the demand for drugs out there. Like the desire for drugs is ever higher now than what it was before. I would argue it's probably more higher now than what it was before. And their drug laws are doing little to stamp it out. All the drug laws are doing are actually just making it more dangerous for those who do delve into the illegal world of illicit drugs. And it's unfair. Shouldn't be the case. But anyway. One last one coming out of Cork then, and we'll wrap it up then. I don't. Boom, we have Canada. Yeah, one more coming out of Cork, and then we'll wrap it up with two international ones then. Um, Boom, back into Cork, and three charges Gardaí sees slash hooks, machetes, and North Cork. So again, this is just kind of to say, look, the guards have enough shit to be doing. Within this article, they raided they raided a property. They found a serious weapons. This is in relation to an ongoing feud there between some known families to the guards above in the Charleville area. This was. And during the search, they found some cannabis as well. But look, the least of the worries is the cannabis. They found slash hooks, knives, and all sorts of offensive weapons up there. And it's yeah, as I said, the guards have enough shit to be doing and having to be going out there doing drug raids on, the likes of the friendly gardener, going out there terrorising him and his young family in their home. Um, Surely they could be out there taking more of these kind of weapons and these troublesome, taking more of a heavy-handed approach to some of these troublesome families, in terms of more active patrolling there of them. Because, as I said, these families are known to them, and a lot of this stuff went on. There was a housing estate there on lockdown up by me only a couple of months ago because of feuding families. There was like fucking bombs thrown into people's gardens and shit like that, like above there. As I said, guards have enough shit to be doing and having to be stopping and searching the likes of me or you for cannabis. Enough already, like end prohibition. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this. Don't really need to read into the details. Picture says enough. Then we jump on to Canada. Where this article coming out of Canada, and shout out to TG if you're still out there in the audience. Canada has destroyed 3.7 million pounds of unsold cannabis packaging since 2018. So it seems like, prohibition, um, it's like it's not actually even as effective as regulation for destroying cannabis. How much cannabis was destroyed under prohibition? Was it as much as this? I don't know. Like, forgive me. It's probably way more than this. It was probably in the tons, tens of tons, to be fair. But still, it seems like there's a hell of a lot of cannabis being destroyed now since regulation because it goes unsold. Meaning that the industry, the market is it's producing more than what is being consumed. I don't know, is that a good or a bad thing? I suppose it's a bad thing as far as like waste goes, environmentally friendly and all of that kind of crack. Like, is there a need to be producing all of that amount of cannabis and what's going on that it's fucking being destroyed as well? Like, surely like it should be packaged in a way in which it can last up until a decent date. And then when it reaches that date, that those packages, instead of the cannabis being destroyed, it just goes on to be processed. Because surely you can extract from that cannabis that's just a bit aged. Like, does it really need to be destroyed? It just seems very wasteful. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to say about that one. 3.7 million pounds of unsold, unpackaged cannabis destroyed since 2018 in Canada. That's a hell of a lot of cannabis. Oh. Just think of that next time you're out there, and you can't, nug your dealer's dry, and just be like, they fucking just destroyed 3.7 million pounds of cannabis over in Canada over the last couple of years. They're fucking destroying tons of it here as well in Ireland at the moment, I suppose. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. And one last heartbreaking news headline for you today on the 420 news. We'll keep it coming from around the world. We go from Canada and we keep travelling on right over to Thailand, where over in Thailand, the Thai government are seeking the public's opinion on a draft to end recreational cannabis use. Just coming off the back of a lot of talk coming out of Thailand from the Thai government that the law changes were never meant to actually legalise recreational cannabis use, and that there was efforts made a couple of months ago, I believe, to change regulations to try to tighten the belt, if you will, on the industry to try to lessen the recreational use of cannabis, but to little or no avail. Loopholes still existed, and cannabis still kind of prevailed, as a recreational substance over there. Although the initial policy change was meant to be only for medical use, but the cat's out of the bag now. Will they successfully get it back into the bag? It remains to be seen. This public opinion, this is going to go on now. What's it say here? It goes on until the end of this month. I think it's like the 26th of January or something like that. They're going to continue to take input from the public. They're going to be taking input through different means. I think they're going to be actually going out into some of these stores as well, actually, and asking them their opinion on the draft legislation, for suggestions there on the draft legislation, changes and amendments if they would like to see it. So let's hope that there's going to be some very good engagement here with this, and let's hope that the government then get better informed as to how to represent the people that were elected to represent, because it seems, the Thai people have accepted cannabis. I know the government are trying to say, recreational usage is wrong. I wonder how much of that is because of international pressure. You're starting to see cannabis pop up now in packages from Thailand recently here in Ireland. I wonder how much international pressure has been put on Thai officials to kind of, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, you're being bold over there. You shouldn't be legalizing recreational cannabis. You just wonder. So this survey, the deadline for feedback from the public is open until the 23rd of January, after which the Cabinet will weigh both the draft legislation and suggestions received before it goes to Parliament for further deliberation. So some of the recommendations in this new legislation is going to be tougher punishments for farming without a licence, which includes imprisonment for up to 3 years, as well as fines ranging from 20,000 up to 300,000 baht. So 20,000 baht, what's that, about €100 or something? So 300,000. Yeah, you do the math there. Sorry. So let's hope, that the public engage with this. Let's hope that the government just gets such extensive feedback back in support of keeping the recreational market there, or just kind of eliminating this idea of it being medical only, and changing the policy to allow for recreational, because there's been massive interest in Thailand from the international cannabis community. I know a lot of people, a lot of growers, say from America, who've invested over there in Thailand now. They've moved some of their operations over to Thailand. They've created jobs there for the Thai people. They're starting breeding programs over there. It looks like there's some great stuff happening over there, but it seems, unfortunately, I don't know, is it international pressure, or is it just ignorance within the Thai government? But as I say, let's hope, fingers crossed there, public engagement pays off and the government listen to the people they're voted to represent, and the market stays largely unchanged. Fingers crossed. Let's hope. Because I haven't been over there to experience it myself. I know Casa has, Casa de Strogas, and spoke quite highly of it. I'd be absolutely gutted if they managed to get the cat back in the bag over there, and I missed out my opportunity to experience that Thailand 4.20. Thailand 420. Last time I was in Thailand, I went there for a month training, doing Thai boxing over there, and we abstained from cannabis use largely. We spent one weekend on PP Island over there, and we got some cannabis from the Rasta bar while we were there. Some fucking stems and seeds, Thai stick, like really low quality stuff, but it fucking blew the head off us still. Because our tolerance was gone, 3 weeks in Thailand, no smoke, and then getting that was nice. Um, but yeah, we abstained the whole time over there because I was not getting banged up in a Thai jail. No way, no way, Jose. So yeah, there you go. That's the final bit of 420 news coming out of Thailand. All right, let's pack up another ball of civil disobedience here. Get your comments into the hot box, guys, before we start signing off when we go up there. Because I know the kiddies' grandparents are awaiting them. Oh yeah, there's Casa, that's drug ass in the hot box. Speak of the devil. Casa saying there was a lot of fake weed being sold openly in stores too, to be fair. Fake weed as in like hemp, like CBD weed. Are you talking spice? Like that shit, like I'm hoping it's the former and not the latter. Exu, what's happening? Exu is asking here. Hey Martin, hope you're well. Not bad. Not bad at all. Says, what's your opinion on the bill from Gino Kenny? Well, my honest opinion, and I'll start with a positive note, is I really hope it gets supported and it passes. But it's incredibly watered down. It goes way, it falls way short of where it needs to be. 7 grams of cannabis isn't anywhere near enough. The right to grow your own cannabis isn't included in there, which is fucking a big insult to the community. There's so much wrong with it, to be fair, but look, it's all we got. So as I said, I'll start with and finish on a positive note. I really hope it passes. I really hope it gets supported and passes to the next stage. I hope amendments are made. I hope maybe there's a provision included actually to allow maybe a plant or something like that. Hopefully 7 grams is increased to 7 ounces or 7 keys. But yeah. Very watered down. That's I suppose my overall opinion, but I do hope it passes. And with that being said, civil disobedience there for the bill. Let's hope that passes. Whew. Nice. Castle Struggle, it's hard to know without a testing program. Yeah, you see, like that. Man, there's just so much of a conversation needed to be still had here. Like, we're still kind of decriminalize 7 grams. Like, decriminalize 7 grams and more. Come on, we need testing. Like, where's the provision for testing, drug testing? You know, we had the drug testing there, that electric picnic last year. But, like, what's the story with Nicky Killen and the drugs.ie crew? What's going on? Like, come on. People are out partying every weekend. Where's the drug testing going out there? Like, come on, you have your up here on the north side of the city. They have what's it called? Dash, Dash. I think it's is the name of it. It's some acronym for something. Drug awareness, support, harm reduction. I don't know what it stands for, to be honest. I should, but I don't. But why aren't these guys out there with a mobile lab in the back? You know, guys, come on, we're going to be down there on Patrick Street. Come down there with your drug samples. We'll be able to test your drug sample down there. It's going to be a non-destructive drug sample, so you'll be able to get your drug sample back because it's just the IR, infrared spectroscopy. You know, why isn't it there? Like, man, come on. Like Casa, I know Casa. Like, man, if we could Casa, we would be down there doing it. Would we not? To be fair, like I know we would be, but unfortunately we just can't. We can't get that seal of approval. We get that lab, we got that equipment, and we go down there. The cops are just going to be on us like a bad rash. You know, we need the approval of the HSE. The HSE are never going to give me or Casa de Strugas approval. We've been too much of a thorn on their side, it seems, and become persona non gratas within certain circles. But yeah, No skin on my back. But yeah, drug testing is certainly needed, and ever more so for cannabis. Was reading an article there as well about, like, say, some cannabis in the US. You know that there's the concern about the contamination of fungal contaminations and stuff like that. Like we don't know nothing about that here. You're literally getting, do you want it or not? And you have no idea how it was stored. It could have been buried out in a field for the last month for all you know, in pure shitty damp cold conditions and all sorts of fungal and growing inside there. But you wouldn't really be able to spot it with the naked eye. But yeah, apparently drug our lives don't matter. Teresa says all depends on the judge. I've said it before. When they stop prosecuting us, the laws will change. No, the laws will change when we start standing up for ourselves. You know, start going into the court, not guilty, contest all the charges, not guilty, stand up for your rights. Just be like, I believe this is a violation of my rights, and like I'm following some and shout out there to John O'Regan. Nice one for sharing the documentary with me. John O'Regan shared a documentary with me of some Norwegian activists who actually engaged in a very similar activity to mine here in Ireland, where I went into the guard station with some cannabis, my cannabis plants, and planted them out in public. The Norwegian activists done the same thing, and they actually successfully challenged the courts, right to the European Courts of Human Rights. They haven't won, but they have successfully made the challenge. Um, I think they did lose one battle, but I think they were able to appeal that. So it's still an ongoing thing. Um, I'm going to be following some very similar footsteps to theirs anyway. They made submissions for witness applications. I'm going to be applying for witnesses for my case. I'm going to be calling the Minister for Justice, going to be calling the Minister for Health, and they're going to have to come down and they're going to have to justify their position. You know, I'm going to be saying that the Misuse of Drugs Act is untenable as it stands because it violates my rights, my constitutionally enshrined rights. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. Anybody out there legally minded wants to give me more advice on how to do that, I'm all ears. I'm hoping to touch base with those Norwegian activists in the coming days or weeks, and learn more off them as well, and see if I can help their position in Europe. So yeah, yes, and Casa de Struga there as well, saying for sure, brother. That's why I do testing in Portugal. Yes, going to get some samples out your way actually very soon for some testing. Yeah, there's two phases of that testing, yeah. There's a robot element first phase, and then the human element phase two. Good man, good man. All right, we'll empty out the bowl. We've enough there in the grinder for one more bowl of civil disobedience with all you beautiful people out there in the hot box. And then we will have to start signing off. Just about enough in there. That's a pathetic ball. I can't be finishing with that ball. Yeah, it's got a nug out there now. But, oh, as I was saying there, guys, 17th of January, 3 days' time anyway. Wednesday coming, I'm going to be back in court, so you will be getting a live there that morning from outside of the court. As I mentioned last week, no pressure at all to anybody, but if people want to come down and show the support there on that morning, if they want to engage in some civil disobedience down there outside of the Cork City District Court, by all means, guys, I'll be down there myself engaging in a form of civil disobedience outside of the court. And anybody at all who wants to come and join me is more than welcome. If I get in trouble for it, so be it. But just be prepared, guys. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for it. The last time I done it down there, Shy Son, that's who was down there with me, and we didn't get in trouble for it. Two of us kind of stood out there, side there, boldly, bravely, and we didn't get in any trouble. So I imagine, hopefully, next case, that should be the case as well. How far the parents from you, says Bobby. I could walk up there, Bobby, in 10 minutes, but I'm going to be lazy and probably drive. Oh, we picked up a new wagon as well there about 2 weeks ago. We picked up a family wagon. Yeah, we were always driving those 5-seaters, but now we have a 7-seater driving around in one of those MPVs. But on the bright side, it's still a Corolla. It's just a 7-seater Corolla now. Daddy daycare in it full effect by. Right, blaze on up out there anyway, guys. If you're blazing with me, Schleinte. Ooh, that orange sherbet is absolutely delicious. It's so nice when you're having that smoked Australian in a bit, and actually change it up, and you're just greeted with a completely just new flavour. So yum. Corolla based. Yeah, I've always driven Corolla or Toyotas. Started off in a Starlet, then went over to the Corolla. Had a G6R for a while. Um, had yeah, few different Corollas. Yeah. But guys, it has been an absolute pleasure on here anyway. As I said, I'm going to love you and leave you with that final bowl of civil disobedience. Do catch me back here Wednesday if you're not going to be able to make it down here the Cork to outside of the court. We will be live, as I said, on YouTube. So if you watch anywhere else, guys, make sure you get over there to the YouTube channel, subscribe and follow and all of that stuff. So we'll do the live over on YouTube from outside of the court. That seems to be the most reliable. I had some issues there going live on Facebook in the past. So I'll go live over on the YouTube on Wednesday morning. So keep an eye out for that, and Wednesday afternoon. Said first day, guys, it's just going to be a case of Martin Cannon here. Yeah, accept your jurisdiction. No bother. Yeah, see you next day. Good luck. That's going to be it. It'll be in and out, but unfortunately, still got to show up and go through the role. The whole drama of it. So I'm going to make use of my time down there. As I said, I'm going to protest outside. Fair play says Mal's Chronic, and thanks. Not a bother at all, Mal's Chronic. Teresa says enjoy your evening, mate. Not a bother at all, Teresa. Same to yourself. Everybody else out there, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Nice one for hanging out with me there this evening. It's been a lovely stony Sunday with you. I'm going to spend the rest of it there now, hanging out with the kiddies and the parents. And yeah, I'll see you Wednesday. Bye bye. Stay blessed. Keep her lit. Much love. Peace. Hey, Greenbird. Go easy on those sweet Willy sweets. Willy Wonka called it. He wants his jellies back. Peace out, guys. Good luck.